This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome to the Elevate Construction Podcast, where we help you implement, not just learn. My name is Jason Schroeder, and today's podcast is about how to make change when change is hard. This is the fifth in a series of podcasts about winning teams. I thought long and hard about this podcast topic. All of these are outlined and they're well researched, but the reason I wanted to put this inside this series and insinuate it right now on this Friday is because I'd really like us to give some thought about implementing change before we head into next week. So next week there will be some podcasts that talk about some very good concepts about how to build the team. And one by one, I would recommend that the team and you will be more fulfilled and happier if we implement along the way. And so being able to implement and to change when change is hard and to get people to come along with you and take that journey, I feel is appropriate right now. So you're going to love this content. So let me answer this question. Why listen? Have you ever had difficulty implementing change? Do you find it difficult to get people to follow your lead when you need something done? Have you been listening to these podcasts and really like the content, but don't know how to get people to implement it or to implement on your projects? Well, if any of these even hit home a little, you're going to love the content today. So let me tell you a story. I will abbreviate this for you a little bit, but basically in the book, they tell a story about some social activists that went to a third world country to eliminate or at least improve the condition of malnutrition in young persons, in infants, in the children in the region. And they found out that the folks that had malnourished children in that region were feeding them white rice and pretty much nothing else, just water, and they were doing it about 3 times a day. They went to look for hotspots, and in the book it talks about what hotspots are, but it's basically what are the areas or where are the areas where this is actually working, where it isn't a problem. Where does somebody have this solution for this? So they found that there are some villages that were not just feeding 3 times a day, but 5 times a day. And they would also eat some of the local animals where they harvested the rice. So the children didn't really like it. You know, they would have to eat, even if their stomachs hurt, they'd have to eat 5 times a day. They would mix some greens with the rice and some of the animals, some of the shrimp-like animals in that local region, and they found out that the children really didn't suffer from malnourishment. So what they did to change the behavior was focus on 3 things. They educated the other villages, they motivated them by helping them to see the value and find an emotional connection, and were enabling the villages where this was successful to be models, and then they made it easy for them by helping instill habits in the local villages. So they did 3 key things that helped to reduce the malnourishment in children in those villages. So that was a really neat story to me about how we can go into an area, find something that works, and then scale it. Now, let me give you the pattern for scaling right now. So the principle is that there are 3 key behaviors for change. And in the book, it talks about the analogy of the elephant and the rider. So let me talk about the analogy first and foremost. So the elephant is this big, powerful, wonderful animal that has its own wants and motivations, but very, very powerful, can overpower a human being or the rider in any instance. The rider is a human being sitting behind the head on the neck and directing the elephant. Not as much strength, fatigues easily, but controls the direction of the elephant. And also, when they are moving forward, they need a path. So the 3 principles in the book are to, number 1, direct the rider, number 2, motivate the elephant, and 3, shape the path. In the analogy, the rider represents our intellect, our mind, what we know we should do. The motivation is represented by the elephant, meaning what we want to do in our hearts as human beings, what we are motivated to do, what we will do, what we're motivated to do. I'll say that again. What we want to do is represented by the elephant, this big, strong, powerful animal. It's supposed to be directed by this small rider, meaning like our intellect. And then the third step is to shape the path, meaning reduce obstacles, right? Tweak the environment, make it easy for the elephant and the rider to go down a certain path. So here are a couple of things that they talk about in the book. That just like our intellect, our minds, the rider can get fatigued quite easily. And if the elephant really wants to do something, the elephant can overpower where our rider is telling us we need to go. And the rider can get fatigued if the elephant constantly throughout the day is pushing against us. Also, even if you have the elephant and the rider, your motivation and your intellect heading in the right direction, if there are roadblocks or rocks or mountains or streams or something in the way that prevents them from moving forward, all of the alignment in the world won't do us any good. So the rider represents our intellect, the elephant represents our motivation, what we want, and the path ahead of us is representative of the systems, the structures, basically our ability to go get those things done within a system. Okay, so the key thing is for us to make change, whether it's for us individually or within teams, we need to direct the rider, motivate the elephant, and shape the path. Let me say that one more time. In an organization or with your team or with yourself, we have to direct the rider, motivate the elephant, and shape the path. Let me say it a different way. We have to know what we're supposed to be doing and intellectually form a connection with it. We have to want to do it. We have to be motivated. We have to have a heart connection with it. And it can't be impossible for us to implement. There has to be systems, infrastructure, a clear path, and an enabling there for us to go do these things. So direct the rider. Here's the principle that you'll learn in the book. Give clear direction and reduce mental paralysis. Make sure that you script the proper moves. So if you're wanting to implement any of the things that we're talking about team balance or with lean or with the operational control system or anything that we've talked about in podcasts, or you've heard something from some of the other podcasts, or you've read some of these books and you want to go implement, you have to make sure that with yourself, your team, and the entire project site that you give clear direction, reduce mental paralysis by scripting the moves and making it absolutely clear and scaling that communication. Number 2, motivate the elephant. You have to find the emotional connection. Some people downplay this part, but you cannot do this. If it takes a motivational speech or a connection or a personal story or consequences, sometimes that will work, or winning over the workforce, or saying, let's make a deal. You have these nice bathrooms, we do barbecues, we have nice lunch areas, we're going to take care of you, you take care of us. Whatever you have to do to sincerely, appropriately, honestly, and with good intentions motivate the workforce, your team, or anybody that's going to go through this change, you have to go do that. So in order to motivate the elephant, you have to find the emotional connection. And that is absolutely key. You can't just tell somebody what to do. You also have to get them to want to do it. That's in some of the best leadership books, from the history of book writing. And then the third thing, shape the path. Reduce obstacles, tweak the environment, make the journey go downhill, make it as easy as possible. Make it as easy as possible for the people on your project site, on your management team, whoever's in this change, to follow the rules and to follow that path and to take that journey with you. Those 3 things. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, wow, that doesn't seem earth-shattering, just try it. Write down those 3 things. Direct the rider, motivate the elephant, and shape the path. Here would be the challenge. Think right now, please. Think right now, please, of the thing that you have had difficulty implementing, and let's consider for a moment. Have you given clear direction? Have you found the emotional connection? And have you reduced the obstacles, shaped the environment, and made the journey for other people easy? And if not, I would encourage you to try it because it's worked for me every time. Because in our industry, the current condition is that change is hard. Change can seem impossible. And people might want to do it. You might want to do it. You might love these podcasts and want to go get this done, but you're having a difficult time getting it done. It's because we don't have a system and implement a system, but now we actually have a system. So the solution would be to read this book, to go into the details of the book, which gives, fantastic context to each of these sections, and to do those three things that we recommend. You can also download the book on Blinkist and get the summary in about 10 minutes. You can also do a Google search and download the PDF. The content in this book is just absolutely fantastic. I really would recommend at least doing the PDF and reading that. And again, you can just go from the summary that I've given you here in this short podcast today. But implementing the switch and implementing change is key for us to go be successful in our projects and to make the content that we're hearing in these podcasts useful. So let me do a little bit of personal coaching here. I hope that you have a connection with me, that you appreciate these podcasts, that you love me enough to forgive me a little bit for this. But my question to you would be, are you listening and not implementing? And if you're not implementing, why wouldn't you implement these things? Why wouldn't you go take care of your family and scale up excellence and take care of our workforce and help us with this industry? What are you waiting for? What's holding you back? What do you believe in? And what gets you excited about change in this industry? What things do you want to bring to pass? What would your vision for success in construction be? What things do you want to change before you retire? And if you think about those things and then get your passion and get kind of excited about it, then I would ask, are you going to be the 1% that takes their next step, that goes and implements these things, that makes a difference, that will be known for making a difference? Or are you the 99%? And if you're part of the 1% or the 99, I want you on this podcast. I want you listening. I want, that connection with you. But I do want to say that if you can be a part of the 1%, why not? Go do it. Take the encouragement from me. You are remarkable. You can do these things. You can go implement change. People just need something to believe in. They need somebody to believe in. They need somebody to be strong. They need somebody with passion. They need somebody that will go take that next step and give them license to go do these things. So, how will you go do this? What will you implement tomorrow? What is your strategy? Who will you bring with you? And don't be a victim. You can do it. Again, you're remarkable. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful, because at the end of the day, the goal here is to save lives, to preserve families, to take care of workers, to bring respect back to construction, and to do things that will allow us to live a remarkable life. There's no reason to not live a remarkable life. And the only way that we're going to get there is if we actually implement and not wait. So knowledge is not power. Action is power. Knowledge is not power. Action is power. We can't just know. We have to go do. So please reach out to me if you want a podcast topic, if you want further explanations, if you want to provide feedback, or if you need anything from me by way of resources. I am more than happy to provide those things. I am here for you. I want your life to be benefited from these things. So until then, I really hope that you've liked this little summary before the weekend of how we can make change when change is hard. Again, the book is remarkable. It has remarkable content. Please go check that out. Please go check out those summaries. But until we meet again, let's go get this done. Let's pick one thing next week to go start, to implement, to drive. Making the decision and getting started is the hardest part. From there, you are smart enough and remarkable enough to get it done. So until we meet again, on we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.